各位观众朋友大家好，欢迎再次收看音乐在进化当代女性狂潮节目，我是刘玛丽。首先非常感谢各位旧雨新知的支持与鼓励，我们在7月18日完成了 The Mighty Five 五人行听见台湾5位女性作曲家的音乐会，尤其是非常感恩参与的这些朋友，像是台北中央 C 室内乐团的演奏家们，还有5位女性新生代的作曲家，分别是任贞慧、吕艺婷、简宇君、林之良、李若愚，谢谢好作品还有精湛的演奏。好，那在今天的节目中为大家所专访的这一位重量级的女性作曲家 Jennifer Higdon， 她曾经凭着小提琴协奏曲获得2010年普立兹音乐奖，并且在2010年所完成的打击乐协奏曲，还有2018年的中提琴协奏曲，以及2020年的竖琴协奏曲，获得3项格莱美奖的最佳古典作曲奖。那他在2019年当选美国哲学学会会员，也曾经在柯蒂斯，也就是 Curtis 音乐学院教授作曲，从1994年到2021年。Dr. Higdon 是一位自学有成的长笛演奏家，曾经在高中的乐队演奏那后来到了 Bowling Green State University， 他主修长笛的演奏，直到21岁才开始真正学习作曲。从此以后，平均每年都有5到10首的作品问世，也曾经2度获得美国艺术暨文学学会研究院的奖章的殊荣。其中他的作品最著名的可能是歌剧 Cold Mountain， 也就是冷山，当时受到圣达菲歌剧院还有费城歌剧院的委托，以查尔斯弗雷泽的小说冷山为基础，在2015年首演。还有音诗 Blue Cathedral， 也就是蓝色教堂，应该也是音乐会演出最频繁的作品之一了吧。好，那接下来呢，就让我用英文来介绍 Dr. Higdon， 然后我们也听听他的声音。Dr. Jennifer Higdon is an American composer of classic music. She has received many awards, including the 2010 Pulitzer Prize in Music for her violin concerto and the 2009 Grammy Award for the Best Contemporary Classic Composition for her percussion concerto. We are happy to hear from her by the phone interview. So, at first, Dr. Higdon, would you like to say hi to Taiwanese fans? Would you like to say something?
Yes. Hi, Molly. Hi, Taiwan. I'm composer Jennifer Higdon. I'm glad to be here talking to you.
It was a great success. The piece won Grammy Award for the Best Classical Contemporary Composition in 2009. Would you like to say something about this piece?
Yes, this piece is a lot of fun to listen to because the soloist is playing all kinds of percussion. The soloist plays the marimba, plays a vibraphone, which has metal bars, runs over and plays a bunch of small percussion instruments on a table, and then runs back a little bit more and plays drums and cymbals of all sorts. So the percussion soloist races back and forth across the front of the stage. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of energy, but it's nice to be able to highlight an instrument at the front of the stage that's normally at the back of the stage when we hear a traditional orchestra concert.
Yeah, it's very splendid, and many people, even the first time to listen this work, they can attracted by your composition. Yeah, that's true. Also, the first piece I learned about your piece is Blue Cathedral. It's a one-movement tone poem you wrote in memory of your brother. It's a very touched piece. Would you like to share something about this piece?
Yes, this is probably my most performed piece. I think we've had about 600 orchestras have performed this work, and it's a very personal piece. My younger brother passed away from cancer.
Oh.
It's now been almost 19 years.
Okay.
And I was commissioned to write this for an anniversary of the Curtis Institute of Music where I teach.
Okay.
And I was thinking about my brother passing away and how important our relationships are with each other and how much music means in those relationships. So I imagine the glass cathedral in the sky. I imagine the listener coming in through the open doors and going up towards the ceiling, flying up. To me, it's a journey. Because I imagined it was a glass cathedral, you could see out of the glass and see the clouds and the sun sparkling. And I imagined stained glass windows, characters in them singing, kind of a heavenly sort of sound. And so it is a tone poem. It has flute and clarinet solos because I played flute, my brother played clarinet. Mm-hmm. And it feels very spiritual to me, this piece. It's about learning to live even in the face of loss.
Right. Did you play the flute during the performance for this piece? Or?
No, actually, I was not in the orchestra. It was the Curtis Orchestra was playing. Since I was a composer, I was sitting out in the house so I could listen for balances.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
I have played it before, though. At one time when I was at a conducting seminar, they told me, and this is interesting. They told me, you're going to be up on the stage conducting, even though I was composer in residence. But the maestro Apo Shu warned me about this. She said, they're going to make you conduct this piece.
Okay.
They were doing this piece, and I said, oh, really? And at one point they asked me to sit in the flute section and play. So it's not an easy piece, but, boy, it's audience-friendly.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, let me ask you about Maestro George Crump. You were under the tutelage of Maestro George Crump when you were studying in University of Pennsylvania. He is a celebrated composer of avant-garde music who was influenced by Maestro Anton Webern. What did you acquire the musicianship from him?
The big thing I learned from Professor George Crumb was to really think about pushing instruments beyond their normal sound and to think that all things can make some sort of a musical sound. So, for instance, in his pieces, he sometimes uses stones, two rocks that get tapped together. He does all kinds of interesting things with the piano where he plays inside the piano. So I learned to think about color in a different way because he always, in his pieces, he's pushing the instruments to the edges of their boundaries of what you can do. So I tend to think about that same sort of thing when I'm writing. I'm very aware of color, what the instrument can do, how I can push the instrument.
It's optimistic to see the quantity of female composers is increasing and the quality is more marvelous. In the past, the majority were men, such as throughout a history of Western music, female composers are more than before. What is your own opinion on the future of female composers?
Well, I think there are more and more women who are going to get played. There are lots of them studying right now.
Okay.
In fact, at Curtis, the majority of the composers studying there are women. So I think we're going to start hearing more and more music from women. And it's as it should be, because you know what? That's half of the world's population is women. So if we want classical music to stay relevant, it really needs to have not only the voice of the men, but the voice of the women as well. And there are more women going through school who are studying, and I'm starting to see more and more women who are going out into the world and writing pieces of music and teaching. And so I think with every day that goes by, it becomes a better situation for women.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Higdon, for your nice interview. Have a good one. I hope I can see you in the future.
Sounds good. I'm sure we will.
Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye. Good night.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Good night.